Hello, welcome to Swiss Watch and welcome to another very special episode. Today we have a guest on the show. He came all the way from Geneva in this early morning to Zurich to show us his beautiful creations. I'm really excited and I hope you are too. Today on the channel we have Kees Engelbarts. Welcome to the show and thank you for doing this and giving us the opportunity to showcase your beautiful creations.
Hello, Marco. Thank you for inviting me and thank you for letting me get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I really appreciate it. And I hope the viewers as well.
It's a long way from Geneva to Zurich. But
Yes.
Anyways, thank you for having me. As you can see, I brought some stuff.
A few pieces and a few examples. I'm really happy to get all these watches here, and we can dig into each one and you explain to us how you make these beautiful creations. So for the audience who might not know you yet, can you tell us a bit about yourself, how you came into watches, what is your main focus, and just how you got started?
When I was a kid, I was always drawing and always painting and fooling around. And I was inspired by beauty, or I was attracted by beauty. Not only beautiful girls, but also beautiful flowers and beautiful landscapes, So I was drawing a lot, and because of that, I thought that maybe that was my thing to do. I hesitated to do the Arts Academy in Holland. And then my dad told me, then you're an artist, and you're only an artist, and most artists cannot make a living from being an artist. So why not choose a craft that can be artistic, like an artistic craft? And again, coincidence, I stumbled upon somebody who was engraving. And he was hand engraving when I came to his workshop, and I was intrigued straight away because I was always, these calculators we had in school, the Texas Instruments and the Toshibas, and they were of aluminum. Yes. And I was already, when I was 16, I was always scratching and writing my name in the aluminum, and so everything came together at that moment, and I thought, this is really cool, engraving in metal. So I asked the guy, where can one learn this craft? He gave me the address of the school. I called the next day and started straight away. Wow. So there was no doubt. It was like a revelation, this is what I want to do. Yeah. And I never changed my mind ever since.
So we see like a lot of different variations here and different techniques. So what's your main focus on, either materials that you use and also decoration and, skeletonization techniques? So
sometimes you asked me before the show, how should I call you?
Yeah.
I said, I'm not a watchmaker because I'm not. I make watches. It's funny, my brother is a watchmaker, but he never made a watch. But he's a watchmaker, and I'm not a watchmaker, and I make watches. So when I started in Geneva, so I came to Switzerland in early 90s, 1989, 1990. I started to work in an engraving workshop that did subcontractor work for the big brands. And I've worked there for quite some time. But little by little, you always have to do what others tell you to do.
Yeah.
Like you do something for this and this brand. Yeah. The designer already sent the design. You engrave this. And
if you like it or not, doesn't matter.
And for me, it's not it doesn't bring out the full potential of what I want to do, So I started to make my own watches in 1996. I think I made my first watch, and I made one before for my wife, but that doesn't count. First, the idea was to make one, and for a presentation that I had in Japan, I was giving a demonstration of hand engraving, so I thought I might as well take an existing watch, which was a Haas watch with a PGS 71 movement. Yeah. So I took it apart, redid the dial, which was a gold dial, by the way, and I did the skeletonizing of the movement, and that was just for this exhibition or for this demonstration. And then somebody saw the watch, and I don't want to make fun of Asian people, but he said, "How much is it? How much is the watch? And what brand is it? What brand is it?" I said, "It's not a brand. It's like homemade."
Yeah.
And he looks at me, ha ha ha, you're funny, huh? Homemade. I said, "No, it's homemade. I made it at my home, so it's homemade. It's not no brand." I said, "I want to buy it." I said, no, you cannot buy this one because, you know, this watch was my wife's watch that I took.
You can't sell that.
I cannot sell it. It's my wife's. I can make another one for you. And that's actually the first time I realized that I could continue to make watches and actually sell them.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, you say they're unique, which is true. They're all unique. They're special, which is true also because they don't look like regular watches. But it's not everyone's cup of tea also, which is something you must understand as well.
Absolutely. You know? This channel is for those who like my cup of tea and this cup of tea.
This is another cup of tea, right? So engraved watches are not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. But for the people that like it,
they really like it.
They really like it.
And they appreciate it.
They understand the how it's done and how much time you spend on every single watch, the uniqueness and the energy and the blood, sweat and tears you put into every single piece.
Of course, So we see here different cases, styles of finishing, and also, you know, different, you know, sizes. This one is a completely different model. We have a few before and after movements here, which for me are always fun to see.
It's not after, it's before and during.
During, nice.
It's not finished yet.
So if this is the during phase, which is already incredible.
But it'll be finished soon, I hope.
So let's go to this one, because it sticks out a bit the most here. And this is the movement used in the watch.
Right.
Can you tell us something about this, you know, exact model? Why is the case shaped like this?
The case shape, first of all, is because of the movement. The movement has a barrel that is sticking out.
Yeah.
So you cannot fit this in a round case. Makes sense.
Yes.
So that's why we had to design a special case for this one. You can see it from the back as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And it's still very big. So now it's 49 times 16, I think, the thickness of the case. If you would have made a round case, it would have been 54
bigger,
or something like that, which is too big. This is a watch that I made inspired by a tsuba. So I don't know if you know what a tsuba is. You have the Japanese swords, the katana, you know, and there's a piece that protects the hand, this plate.
Yeah.
That's called a tsuba. And when the samurai had these swords at that time in 1500, 1600, they didn't have Rolls Royces or expensive watches or, you know, to show off how well they were doing, how rich they were. So they could only show it by having a special sword, a special armor and everything, you know. So some of these tsuba, they are richly decorated, made of gold. And there was this tsuba that I saw on the internet. I liked it straight away. It depicts the same scene. So you see a bird of prey on top, sitting on a branch, looking down at the little birdie that looks up and goes like, oh shit, he's going to catch me, or, you know, and he's very relaxed.
He's the boss.
So this is a scene that, for me, if you compare it with samurai, the bird of prey is the samurai. He's the guy that so this is a scene that shows that you're the boss, you know. And the original one is also made on a background of Mokumegana, more or less the same structure, so vertical. So this is Mokumegana of white gold and silver. And then there's all kinds of metal in the dial. So the bird of prey is red gold, but it has yellow feet, and then the nails on the claws are made of silver. It's a big patchwork of different materials. The leaves are green gold, so that's gold with a little less copper, only silver in it, so it has a green shimmer. The branch is red gold, and the little bird is bronze.
And for those who don't know, what is Mokumegana?
Mokumegana is Japanese, and it means metal with wood structure metal, actually. And it was invented by a Japanese goldsmith, or maybe a guy that made knives, or so Mokumegana opposed to the damask steel. Because damask steel has a function. Mokumegana is purely decorative, so there's no steel. It's only non-ferrous metals like copper, silver, gold, platinum, white gold, palladium.
So purely for decoration purposes.
Right, yeah. And you make it by putting different layers of metal on top of each other.
Yeah.
Put that in a kiln under pressure and heat it to the, not the melting point, but where it starts. Right. So you get a block, and in the block you have like 19 or 30 layers of different materials. So once you have this block, you can make a decoration on top and laminate it. So between two steel rolls, roll it. So the layers from underneath get pushed to the surface, and that's what you see here. And after that, once you rolled it, you can etch it.
Beautiful.
So this is made of silver and white gold. The silver will get attacked by the acid, and the white gold will not. So that explains the relief. The little
And from far away, looking at it now, it looks like he's in the forest. It looks like trees.
Yeah, a little bit.
From far away. It's beautifully made. The hands are hand-blued, heated blue?
Yeah, they're heated blue.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
and the movement, what did you do there?
The movement, I decorated with Mokumegana as well. So those are not actually the bridges you see, but they're like thin layers of Mokumegana that I put on top of the bridges.
And this all came from this base movement, essentially?
That's the base movement. That's the AS movement from 1912. I looked it up on the internet. And
beautiful.
It's AS 690. It has 8-day power reserve.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So also you brought, my favorite collection, or let's say, models from what you create, which are more on the organic skeleton tourbillon versions here. We have 3 examples. This one is my favorite, and I know it's also a special piece to you.
This one has a bronze case.
Yeah.
It's actually my son's watch, as I told you. He got it when he was 18. I told him you can do with it whatever you like. You can wear it, you can sell it, you can, I like it very much myself. It has a double barrel, so 5-day power reserve. The movement is a company that used to make them a Techno Time. I think it's taken over by Suprot now.
Yeah.
So I think the movement still exists.
And the bridge you also, hand polished over the tourbillon?
Yeah, of course.
And how do you create this organic look?
I call it organic skeleton because it looks like something organic, looks like coral or like wood or like a plant or bones or something, I was just so fed up with the classical skeleton watch, which in most cases is done by a watchmaker. So if something is round, it has to be round. If something is straight, it has to be exactly straight. Everything has to be geometrical because that's the way watchmakers think.
Yeah.
And I thought, that doesn't make sense. I mean, of course it makes sense, but to me, it doesn't necessarily make sense if you want to create something different. So, skeleton watch. What is a skeleton watch? I rethought the concept of a skeleton watch by saying to myself, what is a skeleton watch? A skeleton watch is a watch where you keep the parts that are needed to make the watch function, So everything that is unnecessary, you take it away. And you can do that in several ways. So I start roughly, I take the bridges and the main plate and all the parts that I can skeletonize, and I really start rough, with a big tool and go like, and then take everything out that I don't need.
Yeah.
And then little by little, you get closer to the functions, where are the stones, where are the screws, can I touch this, can I touch this? And you need to have a certain rigidity or a strength of the movement. You cannot
compromise it,
You cannot take too much. That's what I do actually. I continue to take away material and I look for nice shapes and I look for a certain balance, and a certain aesthetic. Most of the times I finish my cases also with a matte finish. Because I'm not a fan of polished watches. Because as soon as you take a polished watch and you wear it for 2 days, it is scratched and it's ugly.
Yeah.
It becomes ugly because a scratched, polished surface is not beautiful, in my opinion. This is one of my customers' watches. I told you
beautiful.
It came in for a surface. Right? It's in platinum, and when platinum falls,
It fall.
It really falls. So it had big marks on it, but with laser welding and everything, it's like brand new. So it's easier also to recuperate a marked case, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like new. So if you would tell me that it was dented, I wouldn't have noticed. And also the hands are really unique. Huh? So how do you do the hands?
The hands are made of Mokumegana.
Wow.
So that's the technique I just explained. And in this particular case, these hands are made of yellow, gold, and silver Mokumegana, but twisted. So you take the same material with all the layers, and you twist it. You know. Heat it and twist it.
Wow.
And by twisting and heating it, you get this effect.
It looks kind of like a unicorn's horn.
Almost, almost, yeah. But it also, when you look at it closely with a microscope, it looks like a piece of wood that you could find in the river, you know? That the sand has
dented and polished by nature. So we talked about all of these three watches, which have a similar style. But what do you have on the wrist? I think it's the one that I printed the photo out as well in the back.
Yeah, I've seen it before. Yeah, that's the one. This is actually it's more like an experiment.
Yeah.
You know, in my workshop I have a laser welding machine, and laser can be so hot that it melts the metal.
Yes.
On that point, and if you have two pieces of metal and you put your laser light on that particular spot, the two pieces of metal will melt together, you know. And what I did is with this watch is I tried to totally destroy the movement.
Because this is the beginning, right?
This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like in the beginning.
Wow.
So this is only the main plate.
Yes.
And then you have, of course, the bridges on the back side that I will show you later. So with the laser welding machine, I started to shoot. It's like shooting, you know, like a Star Trek. Or, you know, and you pew, 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 pew. And you shoot. And sometimes it's so hot, and sometimes when you insist on a certain spot, you just go through it, go through the material.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun, and it is fun. But the only thing that you have to keep in mind is that as soon as you touch a function, a spot where there should be a screw or a stone,
you destroy it. Yeah.
Then you really destroy it, you know, and then you can throw it away. You can throw it away, and you can start over again. And that's a little bit pity with the tourbillon movement.
Yes, I bet.
So I totally shot or destroyed the main plate, as you can see from the top.
Yes, but it looks beautiful, huh?
Yeah, the result is astonishing. I mean, some people look at it, some watchmakers, watchmaker friends, you know, like Peter and Carrie. They looked at this and they went like, "How did you do this? You know, how did you do this?" They didn't get it. They thought it was the dial first. I said, "No, it's not the dial. It is actually the main plate."
Wow.
And I had some issues of deformation, you know, the main plate starting to curve and everything. But finally, I solved all the technical issues as well, and the watch is working, and it looks like
fossils, or
like fossils,
like
or
the
moon surface, or like a volcano, or whatever, you know.
It looks beautiful. Again, things I never saw before, which I really like with your watches.
No watchmaker will ever do this, you know. And I see myself as how should I say? I see myself as I try to remain I try to stay close to the kid that I was when I was 6 years old, playing with sand and water. You know, you can play with these materials as well.
Yeah,
you can play, and you can discover, and you can make new things, and you can discover new techniques, and you can make an adventure of what you're doing, instead of always like Charlie Chaplin in modern times, you know, always do the same thing and repeat the same movement. No, that's not what I want to do. I want to play and fool around and create something new.
Also for you and the customer, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful, and I like the case as well, because this one looks a bit more
this is
wearable for most people.
This is silver, but it's not normal silver. It is called Argentium It's a silver alloy with germanium. And somebody, or the guy that invented it, apparently, he says it doesn't stain like silver. It doesn't oxidize,
nice.
because of the germanium. So it stays white as so is this one.
Yeah.
Argentium.
This one is so skeletonized.
It's very
beautiful.
It's very
so cool. Yeah.
I can see.
I love skeletonized watches just because of that.
Before you mentioned the psychedelic tourbillon, this is more or less like the psychedelic tourbillon, so the one with all the colors.
Yes,
but it's even more skeletonized.
Oh, wow. So this is something most people know you for, probably in the watchmaking industry. Engraving, engraving different motifs, reliefs, animals on the watch dials. And we have a few examples here which are absolutely beautiful. So I would like to dive into this watch and just, explain to us how did you achieve these, different colors, and also why did you choose this pattern?
This watch is the first of a trilogy of 3 watches. I've made a watch a few years ago that was called the Dragon Gate Legend. So here you see a carp fish, right? Jumping or trying to jump out of the water. So the legend, the Dragon Gate legend, tells about a carp fish, one carp fish every 1,000 or 10,000 years, somewhere in a lake in China, is strong enough and powerful enough to swim against the waterfall.
Yes.
And when it gets to the top of the waterfall, there's like some kind of Asian gate. And when he goes through, he transforms into a dragon. That's how dragons are born. And that's the Dragon Gate legend. So this watch is the first one. That's the jumping carp. The second watch will be the transformation of the carp into the dragon. And the third watch will be the dragon in the clouds.
Nice. Wow.
So they will be sold together
as
and
a
we
set.
make as a set, and we will make a very unique, nice Japanese lacquer box to
with some urushi or maki or something.
Right, and you can see the watches from the top of the box. So if you look at the box, the dials are part of the scene.
There's going to be like an opening.
Window. Three openings for every watch.
Nice, beautiful. Is the dial Mokumegana as well?
Yes, as you can see in the structure of the fish and waves, you see the contrast of the white and gray.
Yeah.
And in the fish, you see purple and yellow, and these colors are oxidation colors.
Yeah.
So oxidation colors of silver.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the fish sticks out a bit, and the carp sticks out a bit more, and the hands as well.
The hands as well, and the movement as well.
The movement is another world. Huh?
So the movement is a simple Peseux movement.
7001 maybe?
No, the ancestor of the 7001. I don't know which number exactly, but it looks like the 7001. The motive on the movement is like the Asian waves, you know?
Yeah,
you see
I
these,
see this,
you know the design, you know the drawing. You know? And so I engraved it in relief, and the movement is then silver plated and oxidized as well. So you get the yellowish and the blue and
different
purple color, to match with the fish, you know.
And also I see this is the same movement, just
these are you asked me to bring some stuff from the workshop,
some tools
to explain how you have to come once to the workshop, so I can really show you. Know, I don't have my works, my tools here, but you should imagine you have like an engraving ball, you know, where you put this piece of wood.
Yeah.
On top of the piece of wood, you have the wax that you can heat, and when it heats up, it becomes soft, and you can put the metal pieces, the parts in it, so they don't deform when you work on them, right? So this one is basic. This is just waxed in. It's not engraved, and this one is already in an advanced
in the process
stadium. Stage.
Wow.
It's brass, huh? You can see from the color. So if you compare the two ones,
the before and after,
and
you also have to align the movement parts as they are in the finished watch.
Of course, you put them.
You can see the lines and everything.
Right, I put them on the main plate. Yeah, of course, you have to respect the horizontal and the vertical.
Yes. So essentially,
So this is 6 o'clock, right? And this is 12.
Exactly. Wow. Again, I think just seeing the before and after is really helpful because it's hard to understand, you know, like with this one, you know, that this comes from this one. So thank you again for, you know, bringing all these pieces here. So the audience can see the amount of work.
It's my pleasure also to show it in a video, because not everybody understands how it is done and how, you know, I brought a little saw, you know. This is like a little mini saw to clean.
It looks like a prop, huh? But you actually use it.
No, I use it.
And this as well. I don't even know what to do with this.
C'est un compas. It's to draw circles or to draw a little, you know.
But we used this in high school. I remember.
But it's beautiful. It's beautiful tools. And so it's all hand tools, you know, like the gravers over here. Excuse me. So you can imagine this in the block. In the block.
Yeah.
Then I have my microscope here. I look through the microscope, and I have some two pillows for my elbows, and then you carve in the material, and you look in the microscope. So it's really awkward for because you look here, you know, and you see this, and you said you once tried, no?
Yes, I was in Dubai Watch Week, and we had a workshop. I don't remember which brand it was. But we had like a plain main plate, and I tried to engrave my name, and I almost cut my finger off because people don't realize the amount of pressure actually you need to engrave, but also it takes years and years.
You don't need much force actually. It's more
if you're a newbie.
If you're a newbie, of course. Yeah. The first time I engraved, I cut myself. You see the little V here?
Yes. Yeah. That's it.
That's the first engraving lesson. I still have the. And my teacher at that time said, "That's a good omen. That's a good sign."
Yeah.
You know,
and this one is also beautiful. Huh? Yeah, very delicate, as you said.
Yeah, it's.
So we're gonna be careful with this one. This comes in this case. Essentially because of the little bump here, right?
Because of the
It's beautiful. Yeah. So again, this takes you weeks to create.
This is also months. I made a watch that is similar to this one. So this is the Dragon Gate story in one image. You know, on the bottom you see the water or the lake.
Yes, and with the
you see the carp fish here. Here you see the waterfall.
Yeah. So he's trying to get there.
He's trying to get there. He will swim up the waterfall and turn into a dragon.
Wow.
So we don't have the gate, the actual gate here, but you know, you can imagine. And actually this story is told in Asia to little kids. Like, Marco, listen, you're a carp now.
Yeah.
You know?
But later...
I don't want to insult you, but you're like a carp now. You know? And if you want, you can become a dragon.
Yeah.
But in order to do that,
you
have to get up, you have to work, you have to swim against the water, you have to fight. And maybe if you're chosen to be, because not every carp that works hard will turn into a dragon, you have to be chosen as well, you know. But if you're chosen, if you work hard, maybe one day you can make it and become. So it's a success story in a way, you know.
In one picture. Basically.
In one picture. That's why we make this trilogy of 3 watches with the carp and the transformation and the dragon, because then you can choose the watch you wear this day. I feel like a carp. I feel like a dragon. I feel like I'm transforming. I feel like I'm getting there, you know.
So, Kees, I also see you don't put any inscriptions or names on the front side of the watches. So, can you tell us about this? You know, the philosophy behind that.
Philosophy. It's just that I don't consider myself a brand, and that there should. It would be ugly, you know. I think it would be ugly to put a name across this scenery, because I want you to look at this and not to look at my name. If you want to see who made it, it's written on the back side.
Yes.
Right. So I don't consider myself a brand, but I look at myself more like an artist, or like a painter makes a painting and he signs it, or a sculptor makes a sculpture and he signs it. So I make watch and I sign the watch with my name. That's it. The look of the watch, for the people that know me, they will recognize that it's one of my watches, right?
I like that idea, because sometimes I see a cool watch from maybe like a completely new brand, and then I see the name and I'm like, nice watch, but why did you have to put your name this big? When it's not recognizable, it can, work also as a negative factor. But I love the idea behind it. So let's try to maybe put some numbers on these pieces here as much as we can. So let's start maybe with this one, with the beautiful carp on it. How much would this cost?
Since it is one of the trilogy, 2 other watches are almost done.
Yeah.
And we have to do the urushi makie, the Japanese box. Once that is all finished, I know the price more or less. So this one I cannot really. The tourbillon in bronze would be 110 Swiss francs. Yeah. So this one in argentium silver, it's the same. 110, 120. I don't know exactly. But that's more or less the price. In platinum, of course,
you pay more because of the
they
platinum
are a little
as well,
more because of the material, but the work on the movement is basically the same. So this one would be approximately 150 Swiss. Yeah,
beautiful. And the big boy?
150 as well.
150,
yeah.
Beautiful.
That's because of all the work that is involved, and because it's a unique piece, and I simply won't sell it for less.
Yes,
if not, I hang on to it. I prefer to hang on to it.
On this topic, how many watches do you reckon you create a year? Because I know each take
there's no average. Over the years, when I started in 2000 approximately, we can say maybe a little earlier, 97, 98. I think I made maybe 70 or 80 watches. Nice. In 20 years, that is 144 average.
Yes, yeah.
More or less.
More or less, yeah.
And some watches ask more time than others, and some years I make more watches than others. But it also depends, because in the beginning, when I started to make my own watches, I did a lot of subcontractor work still for the big brands.
Can you name a few?
I did the whole series for Gégé Lecoultre. At that time, they had the platinum reverso skeleton.
Yeah, wow.
I engraved all these. Those were 500 movements.
Yeah,
took me over 2 years to do them. And so I did a lot of subcontractor work in the beginning, but more and more I try to reduce that and work for people I know, like the dial for Sven Andersen for the special only watch auction. I did a piece for the Bart and Tim, the Gernfeld brothers.
The case as well,
the
right?
Case,
I remember this.
So that is much more fun than working for, with all due respect, for the big brands. Because when you work with the big brands, you rarely ever have a nice personal contact with somebody. It's either the secretary, and you deliver the stuff that you just spent days and weeks on, and she will just take it and say, okay, thank you, bye-bye, send us the invoice, bye-bye. There's no...
And with independence, you can even meet the final customer,
you open a bottle of white wine when the project is finished, and you celebrate, so we did it. There's the watch, it's beautiful. Wow. Thanks to you, man. That's different, because working like that, it's just human. Doing it the other way is not human.
Yeah.
Just doing it for the money and just doing it for the
fame and
that's not my cup of tea. If you see what I mean. Everyone chooses his own cup of tea.
Perfect. So Kees, thank you so much again for taking the time and showing us we built like a little workshop here in Zurich, but I'm sure you have a lot more tools in your workshop in Geneva, and I really appreciate you coming here and showing us all these pieces.
Thank you, Marco, for inviting me, and please come to the workshop next time and bring Marcel to the workshop with his cameras, and I can show you maybe some more. And I can also show you the engraving, in action.
Yes. That would be great. I would really appreciate it. And next time in Geneva, I'm definitely going to hit you up as well. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you like this episode. It's a different format. We never featured, a watchmaker engraver on the show before, but I definitely want to, bring more people to the studio to show, the craftsmanship behind these creations. Leave a comment down below, and tell me which watches you like the most. And also if you have a question for Kees, he's gonna be, moderating the comment section a bit as well. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.